Gonna be working on the Seadoo XP-DI today. Kind of funny, the last video that we had on the XP-DI, and we were racing it up against the Wave Blaster 2, and some people got kind of triggered that the XP-DI wasn't running perfect. And that was kind of the whole point, because the perfect running XP-DI would have just owned the Wave Blaster 2, and we know that, and you know that, and everybody knows that. So I don't see what the problem was taking a slightly detuned XP-DI up against a Wave Blaster 2. But today, going to be working on the XP-DI, gonna go ahead and test the voltage regulator or rectifier, and we'll end up replacing that. Also gonna be replacing the fuel pump and see if that does anything, find a few other odds and ends to work on this thing, just trying to get it running correctly. Later on, we're going to be getting out the ski that many consider to be the greatest of all time, so I'm pretty excited about that. I am testing the rectifier here. I'm going to go ahead and wait till the lawnmower goes by a little bit more. Anyways, the neighbor's mowing the lawn, but there is the voltage from just sitting here. Battery voltage, like 13 volts. Anyways, what we're looking for is between 13 to 14 volts at like 4,000 RPM. Anything above or below that, the rectifier is bad, and these things love to destroy the rectifiers, apparently, from what I understand. I don't know from first-hand experience. There you go. That's at an idle. Here does some RPM. Alright, so it was kind of all over the place there. Not exactly sure what to make of that. I don't know, it doesn't look great, so might be just time to go put a new rectifier in it because it needed it anyway, kind of deal. Here is a brand new voltage regulator, or something else they call these, I can't remember, but brand new for this Seadoo. It's taken a very long time to get this particular part. I ordered it like a month ago, never showed up. One of those things where it got lost in the mail, and doing the whole dance around that, just ended up ordering another one from somebody else so that I could get this dang thing going. And we're about to find out if this is what fixes the running problems with this particular ski. Part is located way up here in the front. It's 2 bolts and a couple of wire connectors, so it shouldn't be too much of a hassle to replace. Definitely not going to be showing that on camera though, it's going to be too much of a hassle for you to see anything. I was able to get the new one of these installed. This is the old unit. Now we're going to go ahead and start this thing up and test to see where the voltage is at. I know it's been so long that I can't really remember where it's supposed to be, but I feel like it's supposed to be somewhere between 12 and 14 or something like that. And if it dips anywhere in between that voltage when you're running it, then you know you got a problem. But we'll go ahead, test it here, and get a look, see what happens. I'm gonna sight this in right next to the voltage thingamajigger. If the voltage goes away, it's because this thing's just laying on the negative, the other one's clicked on. So after I start out, to come hold it by hand. Seems like we got a bad battery connection or a low battery. I have replaced the voltage regulator on this thing, and here's the old one. It's also called, gosh, every time, it's also called a rectifier. I always forget that. They are not meant to charge up a dead battery. This thing's been sitting for quite a while since I was waiting for the part. So I have the battery charger going on my battery. I'm gonna go do a couple other things and I will come back. The electronics are extremely sensitive on this, mostly the part that I'm replacing, the rectifier slash voltage regulator. So I'm charging this thing with the battery disconnected. So I would never put like a jumper or like charge this one when it's connected on this particular ski, because it doesn't need much of an excuse to blow that rectifier from what I understand. All right, it's fired up. Let's take a look at our voltage readings. There's our voltage, 12.9899, 13 volts. So it is charging it. I know last time it was doing some really weird stuff. Okay, so I just got it kind of jammed in there. Let's see what it does when we give it a little bit of gas. Certainly holding a lot more steady than the last time I tested this particular ski. Don't want to run it too long without water, so we'll be taking it out in the water and giving it a shot. Definitely sounds good. Raspy, sounds good. Oh gosh. All right. Gonna test, see what we got here. See if she's all fixed up. I have my speed up turned on, so I'll be able to check my phone if it does turn out to be okay. Seems like it's running faster than before. I'm wondering if this is one of those things where it's just a whole host of stupid issues mixed together. So this thing is still not running properly, so I figure it's time to do the fuel pump. So this package came today, and I'm just kind of wondering what part it is. I have a pretty good idea, and I'm pretty hopeful about what it is. Let's go ahead and see what it is that we got here. Let me see. Quantum fuel systems. So why don't you guys go ahead and guess what that is for? Now, I'm wondering, did they send me two? Like, what's going on here? There is a fuel pump there, and hopefully there's just some, oh, this is just filter. Okay. This is a fuel pump for the XP DI, and it's, you know, not quite right yet, and I went ahead and ordered this kit. It was the only one that seemed like more of a complete kit for the XPDI as opposed to other ones which just came with like a fuel pump or whatever. This one came with the fuel pump, all the filters, everything that is needed to make the you know, just all the extras to make this kit work. So that's great. Gonna get this into that XPDI soon and see if I can finally get that thing working properly. All right, I'm just gonna talk while I walk here, because this is one of those, like, trying to get this thing done today, everything going wrong, because I'm working on a Seadoo XPDI and that never goes well. But I finally got a fuel pump kit installed with, you know, all the filters and all the extra doodads. So everything in there is fresh. Got it back together, and when I fired it up, one of the fuel lines exploded, and it's this goofy, just rubber hose with like a plastic center. So I had to get that sorted out. I'll cut to a clip of that exploded line so you can see it. But now I'm about to test it out, and my goodness, I sure hope that we got something that works here. So I'm really hoping for the best. Caleb is lurking.
Oh, hi.
Here's that exploded fuel line. I guess I forgot to remove it from the side of the ski.
Yeah,
so there it is.
Forgot to dump out the water from that side of the ski too.
It's just split open and started spraying everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck to me. Alright guys, hey, I put some WD-40 on the steering thing, so that's really nice. Exactly the same. Oh, this is driving me nuts. So with the new fuel pump install, it's definitely running better. Everything's more consistent, but it's still not right. It doesn't run out the way that it should. So we're gonna have to try to work on some other stuff, see if we can get this thing fixed. Replace the fuel pump and the rectifier on this thing, and needless to say, it needed both of them. So now it's like more reliable, like it always stays running, but sometimes maybe it kind of has a little bit of miss when you're up in the top end. So we're dealing with multiple problems obviously on this thing, and today I was switching out the oil because I got the correct oil, switching to the Seadoo full synthetic stuff. And so I had the oil tank out, dumped it out, and this little guy fell out of the oil tank, which is a check valve for one of the breather lines that comes off of the oil tank. Fortunately, I didn't fill this up with oil yet, so that's sort of nice. Just gotta pull the main feed line off, and then we'll have this out. I'll really inspect this guy and try to figure out what we got going on. All right, I've got the breather assembly removed. You can see where the plastic broke, and the little check valve came apart. And it's pretty odd, unusual little deal in there. I'm sure it's just protecting both of those from getting oil into them. This is definitely a one-way check valve to only let air into the oil tank. At first it was going both ways with air, and then I cleaned it out with a little bit of carb cleaner and just had a little something stuck in it. So here's that piece that was broken. I went ahead and just glued it back together. It's a one-way check valve keeping oil from coming into either one of these vent lines. So I mean, I'd like to order the part, but it's not going to be here today, so I'm just going to do this for now and see if that really helps us at all. Not sure this will really do anything in particular, but it potentially could, since those vent lines. One of them goes straight to one of the throttle bodies. The other one goes underneath the engine somewheres. I got the whole oil tank thing put back together. I was pouring the oil in there, and I was just kind of taking mental notes on what color this was and how this felt compared to what was in there. And what was in there before was more of a reddish, and this is kind of more, this one's a bit of like a reddish brown, and I think this is seems a little bit thinner perhaps than what was in there. So really no way for me to know what was in there except for like send it to, like, you know, an oil lab or whatever. But I'm not gonna go to that big of trouble. So it is possible it had the wrong kind of injection oil in it, but we're just taking care, and I'm just taking care of every little thing I can find on this, just so it'll be in really good working order. So another fun thing I did on this today was I cut out all of this wiring. It's just stupid and silly to have that in there, because this thing, what with having sensitive electronics, running a sound system on it, it's just not a good idea. And it was adding a bunch of wires and a bunch of weight up here. So I'm over it. I'm just done with it, and I got that stuff out. But gonna be running some ethanol free gas today as well, and see if that helps this thing. Normally we run 92, which is the highest octane we can get at the pump, but we can't get like ethanol free 92 as far as I'm aware. So it's like 87 octane as well. So we'll see if that makes any kind of a difference, good, bad, or otherwise. But really hoping for a good test run today. You know, if this doesn't solve it, then I don't know, man. Maybe I'll just give up and sell it. Either that, or it will be time to take a good look at the air pump on this thing. And I know it sounds silly, but there is like an air compressor, air pump thing in this particular personal watercraft. We're due. Gotta get some fuel. I don't know what to think about how it's running. It's like, it's just literally better than it's ever been. Maybe I'm gonna run it for a while, see if it clears all the oil out of the oil feed line, and maybe we'll be on our merry way. But we'll see. I gotta get some fuel. Super pumped and excited about the X4. Can't wait to get on it. It's been a long time since I shredded one of these things. Jason's got the X4 or 96 XP out, or it might be a 95, I can't remember. Greatest of all time, and he's going like full shreddy on that thing already. This thing feels like a giant turd after watching him. Like, where's my 951 power? That 787 is absolutely shredding right now. Hey, but at least this is fuel injected. I think it's great fuel economy. Yeah, I love that. Oh man, Drag race.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I got him off the line. I'm winning. I'm winning. Holy crap. This thing is fixed. Somebody buy it from me immediately. I hate it. I will say the seat is quite comfortable on this. I won! I
This is way better.
Yeah, I'll trade you permanently.
Oh man. Well, I mean, how much does it sell for? If I'm selling it, it works out great.
Okay, maybe we'll do that. Oh man, that would be fantastic. And then all of a sudden I was coming in and now I can't turn left. It turns right, but it won't turn left. Go figure, something, and the steering broke or something. I've got my foot in the water trying to help me turn left here. Probably just have to walk it in. Yeah, turning right, not a problem. She keeps running better and better and better. It's just like we're cleaning something out kind of thing. But then the steering thing happened. Did you leave the drain plugs out? Oh, what's the problem then?
It's filled with water.
Oh, that's all?
Yeah, it was. When I got back and looked inside, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I made it to shore. Like, it was full.
Oh.
And the drain plug was not left out.
Oh. So I'm starting to wonder if there's a hose that's not connected inside.
I kind of wonder if it's the, like, coupler.
Or the carbon seal?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think that's what it is on these. Well, that totally bites.
Yeah. As you can see, there's a bit of water.
Yeah, my steering only steers one direction now, so.
Oh, man. It's a Seadoo day, isn't it?
Yep. I'm like running it out and it's like running better and better and better, and then like I'm coming in and then the steering breaks.
Wow. That's I've done that. I've come in on the wave blaster when the steering breaks, and I'm just like, lean, stick your foot in the water, try to make it turn, go the right direction.
This here was just the seal was not connected, so there was water coming through there. So basically we just need to put that on, tighten that down. Jason's kind of afraid to run it unless we grease it though. So
well, okay, so when I got it, I saw this was loose, and I don't really know about these parts, but this was loose, so I tightened it, and it was, when I tightened it, the engine wouldn't turn. It would just get stuck like trying to turn this whole hose. So then I tried to grease it. We were out of grease. So then I was like, well, maybe it goes that way. I don't know. But this wasn't, they didn't slide out when I had it. It was like fixed in there. It was really stuck. So it looks like it might be more okay.
kind of trying to decide what to do next with it, or if I should just give up and move on with my life. The steering cable is broken, so I had to fix that as well. Obviously the X4 or the 95 Seadoo XP, I was really stoked about trying that, but obviously it did fill up with water because the seal wasn't put on properly. But we're gonna get that put on properly, and then we're gonna give that thing a good test, so you guys are going to stick with us to see that. And I don't know if I've said this on the YouTube yet, but we actually have 3 of the Seadoo XP X4s, so 95 and 96 Seadoo XPs. We got 3 of those, so we're definitely gonna have some content on the X4s coming soon.